if we put in the budget for 36 officers and we have 31, you had approval to hire 5 more, and we still have not hired those 5 more officers. So I don't understand what's the holdup on hiring the officers when we already have approval to do so.
What you're about to see could be a foreshadowing of events currently taking place within the Henyard administration in Dolton. You might be shocked watching this classic footage from the archives as we dive into today's episode of the Dolton Chronicles. What's up, gang? This is Carlton Flowers. Welcome back to the Go Political channel for this first episode of the Dolton Chronicles. And we're going to dig way back for this one, all the way back to the year 2019, when Mayor Tiffany Henyard was a Dolton trustee. And you did notice in that first clip that she doesn't look the same as she does now. Obviously, she's making enough money now to have the amazing hair, the wonderful makeup, the exciting, colorful suits. But back in 2019, we see the bags under her eyes, the hair looking like something that came from a dime store, looking a little bit rough. But as we jump into scene number 1, we're going to watch as the mayor, back then, Riley Rogers, talks about the importance of background checks. And then Tiffany Henyard, as the trustee, jumps in to nitpick him about asking the board to approve those 20 new officers while falsely accusing him of waiting until they had the funding. It's very interesting when you look back and you see these things. And with Trustee Henyard constantly nitpicking, henpecking the mayor about every decision he ever made. But back then in 2019, crime was on the rise. They didn't have all of their positions filled, and they needed to get more officers on the streets to combat the crime that was going on. So after Tiffany speaks, then you'll see the mayor give his response, and he makes a clarification that I want you to pay close attention to that concerns the need of immediate approval and about important factors in the hiring process. All right, let's cut the clip.
I'm optimistic that we're going to get in front of this. I'm optimistic that our crime is going to decrease, and we're going to put the proper people in place to make sure that happens.
Mayor,
yes.
I guess I'm trying to make sure I got clarity to what you're stating. You're saying you want the board to approve the 20 officers and we don't have the money, and you want us to wait until we get funding in 6 months? Is that what I heard? I'm just making sure I'm hearing it correctly.
No, that's not what you heard.
Okay.
What you heard is that I want to get the approval to hire those officers. Now, whether we can fund them or not, we have the approval. If we get the funding, we can continue to go forward. The process may take 4 to 6 months. It may be faster. It depends on the background checks and the information that comes back. So if we have the approval and we get the money, we can hire them and go forward to continue. Whether we get the approval or not tonight, if we don't have the funding, we can't hire them. But at least it won't delay the process where we have to come back, set up another board meeting, come back and say, okay, now at this time we want to get the approval to hire more police officers. It's a process, and if we can approve the process tonight, that gives the authority for the police chief to seek new applicants and new police officers, and based upon the funding and how we pay them is how we can actually bring them on. Because we can actually approve somebody to get hired and we make the determination when we hire them. It's just like when you give the test and people are eligible upon the test, it could be a year, 2 years. That list is usually eligible for 2 years, a little bit longer. And if you don't hire off that list, it expires and you give the test again. So this is kind of just speed up the process.
So Tiffany challenges the mayor, accusing him of waiting to hire the new officers because they don't have it in the budget. Does that sound familiar? The mayor corrects her, explaining that he doesn't want to delay the process of hiring any further, but rather wants to give the police chief the authority right now, rather than wasting another month to give the approval. He wants to speed the process up and get the ball rolling. But let's hear what Tiffany's rebuttal is as she continues to accuse the mayor of holding up the process. And take special note of how she interrupts and disrespects the mayor. And then let's listen to how the mayor responds. And then we'll get to the best part, where Chief Mobley shuts her down. Cut to the clip.
I got the clear understanding of it, but also if we put in the budget for 36 officers and we have 31, you had approval to hire 5 more, and we still have not hired those 5 more officers. So I don't understand what's the holdup on hiring the officers when we already have approval to do so.
Well, you need to ask the former chief why he didn't hire him.
Okay, we're gonna place the blame.
Because you gave him
Mayor.
You gave me the
Okay, he's gone. That's the past, correct? So that means the new chief or the new people that's in charge can do the hiring. So there's no excuse for why we still have not hired officers when we already had approval to hire 5 more.
He just explained to you that they hired 3, and they're continuing the process, and they have some people on that are eligible. There's another one that's going in for the physical Monday. So he just explained to you. So these 3 ahead of where you gave them the authority to hire the 5.
So once again, Tiffany tries to check the mayor. She insists that he is the problem, that he is the one holding up the process. She's more focused on calling him out than paying attention to the details of what is actually going on. But Mayor Riley Rogers sets her up to get clowned by Chief Mobley in the end. Let's cut to the next clip.
Mayor, may I recognize?
Go ahead.
Trustee Henyard. When I was given the outline that we have 30 applicants that came in, this stack right here is all people that wasn't eligible due to background or other reasons. We had people that was non-certified. So I have probably out of the 30 applicants, 20 of them didn't make the cut. One of the things that we do with bringing laterals on, it's a risk and it's a reward. The risk is that they may have baggage, disciplinary problems that might be in their file from one department or numerous departments. There's a lot of things that raise red flags. One thing that I will not do, and that's been since I've been here, I will not bring on any people with problems because we got enough problems on the street. So therefore, our detectives, when we turn them over to them, they do a thorough background, and we ask them in the beginning of the interview, if you have anything that you need to disclose, now is the time. For some reason, they don't disclose it because, I'll tell you why they don't disclose it, because a lot of departments don't do a thorough check and they slide through the cracks. We cannot afford that here in Dolton. We got too much going on to be hiring people, and then I got to go through a process to get them out. So this is the stack that we've been through. Since I've been appointed, I've been actively and diligently working on that. It's a process from the interview to the background check, to the home check, workplace check, getting a polygraph, getting a psych, a medical. That's a long process, and it just doesn't happen overnight. So here's the stack of people that have, and I say like it's probably about 20 applicants out of the 30 that didn't make the cut. And I'll stand by that. If I got to go through 100 to get 10, that's what I'll do. But we're working on it.
Thank you for your response.
Wow. Now, I don't know much about this chief, but doesn't he seem to be a really stand-up guy? He just kind of gives me that vibe. Now, I know that he was eventually fired, and I think it was before the end of the tenure of Mayor Riley Rogers. But we'll have to dig into that and maybe see if there are any details around the firing of Chief Mobley. But anyhow, it's very interesting that Chief Ernest Mobley made it a point about rushing to hire people without checking their backgrounds and how it can cause problems. He stated they got enough problems on their hands, let alone taking on new problems because they're hiring criminals. Just think about that for a minute. And did you notice how Tiffany Henyard was more concerned with rushing the process rather than ensuring that the people who are being hired have their proper background checks? Now, they say that hindsight is 20/20, right? But this kind of makes it clear that Tiffany Henyard has never had a concern about the backgrounds of the employees who are hired by the village. Now, we're here today where we're all aware that a significant number of the employees that she has hired have criminal backgrounds. And that's not alleged. That's fact. That's fact. No shade towards Mayor Tiffany Henyard. We're not stating that she's a criminal or a crook or one that might lie and deceive and twist things around to cover up wrongdoing. We're not saying that at all. But wow, that is just something else to see that footage and to know that even back then when she was purporting to be the honest trustee who was holding the mayor's toes to the fire, not letting him cut any corners or take any shortcuts or do things illegally. Kind of interesting to see that with this one little clue that we had, the fact that she didn't want to run those background checks or even think about that, and to see her get her face cracked by the former chief of police. What an episode this was. I didn't even intend on starting with this one. I just stumbled upon this clip by mistake. I was looking for something else, and when I saw the footage from this town hall meeting, I could not resist. So you definitely are going to want to hang in here for the next episode, because we're going to uncover more clues where it's going to make it clear with each episode why we see the behavior by the current mayor and administration. So you are going to want to subscribe right now and click the notification bell, because the next edition of the Dolton Chronicles is going to be a dandy. I've got so much for you, you will not believe it. And I'll mention it again, I've got some information that is rather shocking, where my good assistant and moderator Mara dug up something from a town hall meeting where Tiffany Henyard, the mayor, wanted to investigate something that was going on. She wanted an audit, but then the audit never happened. Now, I'm not going to tell you why that's significant. All I'm going to tell you is you don't want to miss it. That's all I've got for now. We'll see you on the next episode. This is Carlton, and I am out.